By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to fix the 5 most common backhand dink mistakes that keep players stuck at the intermediate level. The backhand dink might look like a small, simple shot, but it's one of the toughest skills to master, and also one of the most important if you want to play at a high level. A consistent, confident backhand dink turns your weakest side into a weapon and forces your opponents to think twice before targeting it. So, let's break down the biggest errors players make and how to replace them with smooth, reliable technique. One of the biggest issues players run into when dinking on the backhand side is cutting the ball too much. You'll often see players take this exaggerated high-to-low motion, trying to slice under the ball to create spin. It might look fancy, but it's actually one of the fastest ways to lose control. When you swing too steeply, the ball tends to pop up higher than you want, and any good opponent will jump all over that. Even worse, if you're hitting cross-court, your partner becomes a sitting duck because the ball is now floating right into your opponent's strike zone. The goal isn't to carve or chop at the ball, it's to guide it. Instead of taking that big cutting motion, focus on keeping your paddle face slightly open and swing in a smooth, straight line. You don't need to create spin with your arm. The open paddle face naturally gives the ball a bit of slice and control. Think of brushing through butter rather than hacking at ice. You want smooth contact, not force. Once you simplify that motion, you'll find that your backhand dinks feel steadier, more predictable, and less stressful to hit. The second mistake is letting your elbow bend during the swing. This one ties closely to the first issue because that big cutting motion often comes from overusing the elbow. When your elbow bends and flares out, you lose structure, and the paddle starts wobbling through the swing. That inconsistency leads to pop-ups, mishits, or even balls flying off the court. The key is to keep your elbow straight from start to finish. The entire swing should come from your shoulder, not your elbow. Think of your arm as a single lever, firm, steady, and smooth. When you draw your paddle back, your elbow stays extended, and when you swing forward, it stays the same. A straight elbow gives you consistent contact, while a bending elbow adds too many moving parts. The fewer moving parts, the better your control. So, next time you practice, watch your elbow carefully. Keep it firm and lead every swing with your shoulder. You'll immediately feel more stability and a smoother, more controlled rhythm in your dinks. Now let's talk about the wrist, a small joint that can make a huge difference in your dink. Many players think they're setting up correctly, but they start with their wrist too neutral or even bent forward. The problem with that position is that it causes you to roll over the ball instead of lifting it. Rolling the wrist might feel like you're giving the ball spin, but in reality, it sends the ball straight into the net or makes it fly too high. The right way to set up is by bending your wrist slightly back and up, keeping the paddle face open. This puts your paddle head just above your hand, giving you a natural angle to lift through the ball without needing any extra flick. From there, the wrist stays completely stable throughout the entire motion. No snapping or flipping. That stability gives you precision and repeatability. So, keep your wrist bent back slightly, maintain that angle, and focus on lifting with your shoulder, rather than flicking with your hand. So far, we've talked about the swing mechanics, but even perfect mechanics fall apart if your feet aren't doing their job. One of the most common reasons players miss hit dinks is because they reach for the ball instead of moving to it. When your heels are stuck on the ground and the ball lands slightly outside your comfort zone, you start flicking, slicing, or chopping to make up for it. And that's when errors happen. To fix this, you need to use your feet to find your ideal contact point every single time. For most players, that ideal spot is just inside your outside foot, a little bit in front of your body. If you get that position right, your paddle can move freely through the shot. The moment the ball comes too far away from that point, your control drops dramatically. To train this, practice moving like a crab. Small, quick lateral steps that keep your balance low and centered. Don't stand stiff and reach. Shuffle your feet and meet the ball where it's comfortable for you to hit. A simple drill is to have someone toss balls cross-court while you move side to side, catching them at your ideal contact point. Once you've got that muscle memory, add your paddle back in and repeat the same motion. The goal is to get behind the ball every time, not reach for it. This adjustment may seem small, but it's a game changer. Once your feet start doing their part, your dinks will feel smoother, your errors will drop, and you'll start hitting each shot from a balanced, powerful position. Now that your upper body and footwork are in sync, there's one more piece to the puzzle: your legs. One of the most common backhand dink mistakes happens when players forget to bend their knees. You'll see this all the time. Someone sets up perfectly, moves to the ball, but stays completely upright when making contact. The result? They can't get under the ball, and it either clips the net or floats too high. The fix is simple but crucial. Wherever the level of the ball is, match it with your knees. You don't want to bend from your back because that throws off your balance and lowers your paddle face. Instead, sink from your knees and hips so your paddle stays up and open, ready to lift. This athletic, low stance keeps your balance centered and your paddle angle consistent, which is the secret to hitting those soft, controlled dinks that stay unattackable. Mastering the backhand dink isn't about power, it's about precision, control, and body awareness. Every part of your body plays a role, from your feet to your knees to your shoulder. When they all work together, your backhand turns from a liability into a weapon. Opponents will stop targeting it, and you'll find yourself dictating more points from the kitchen line. So next time you're on court, focus on these adjustments one at a time. Be patient with yourself. The backhand dink is tricky, but once you fix these 5 key mistakes, you'll realize it's not about magic. It's about mechanics. Keep it smooth, stay low, and trust the process. Soon enough, your backhand will be one of the most reliable shots in your entire game.